Okay, great. I'm going to get things started. So welcome, everybody. I'm Warren Wells, Policy and Planning Director for the Marin County Bicycle Coalition. Hey, Dwayne. So this is our April local teams meeting and our trainer talk, where we have guests from across Marin County and sometimes beyond to speak on topics about spreading the love of bicycling and walking in Marin County. So we have a couple of really great guests tonight. Bill Gamlen and Zoe Unruh from SMART. We're going to hear from them. They have a presentation, and we're going to take Q&A. And after they're all done with that, I'm going to give a quick update on some projects, some exciting project developments from around the county. And then for folks who are interested in doing so, we can break out into location-based rooms if people want to chat about projects in their community. So thank you again for joining tonight. And I am recording this meeting so that we can post it to our YouTube page afterward. In case you have to drop early, you'll be able to catch the rest later. So I'm going to turn, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our guests. We are joined tonight by Bill Gamlen, SMART's chief engineer. He's been with the agency since 2009, has overseen a huge amount of a ton of work, both with the train line and the multi-use path. And Zoe Unruh, she's been with the agency since 2023. She is the senior planner, and she's been doing really great work on, I think, particularly the pathway, and is also wayfinding. But I'm going to let them describe their work and what's happened already for SMART and the way forward. So I'll turn it over to you two. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Warren. I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen. If I could get some thumbs up if folks can see my screen.
Looks good, Zoe.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, as Warren said, we're really thrilled to be here tonight, both myself and Bill. And we're just excited to be sharing with you a little bit about what's going on with SMART, both our rail system and our pathway. Let's see if I can advance this slide. There we go. So I'm going to just dive in and give you a few general updates. We'd like to highlight a few recent initiatives that have occurred in the last 6 months. In December of 2024, we adopted the 5-year strategic plan. This was a year-long effort to develop a 5-year plan to implement SMART's goals around our pathway, our rail system, our extensions, ridership, and our freight. We also installed pathway wayfinding. We'll highlight that a little bit later. We installed real-time train arrival signage on our train platforms. We opened new pathway in San Rafael in January 2025. We opened our Petaluma North Station in January 2025. It was a very busy month. Just this last month, our board extended SMART's free fare pilot for youth and seniors, and now that program will go through June 30th, 2026. And we also just recently expanded our Larkspur Connect shuttle. It is now operating 7 days a week, where it was previously operating 4 days a week. And here on the right, you can see the photo of our McGinnis pathway and some of its first riders and users. But there's more. We have pathway segments between Petaluma and Pengrove and Rohnert Park and Santa Rosa that are opening. We also have our Windsor Rail extension and the pathway component of that project opening in the summer 2025. And here on the right, you can see the Windsor undercrossing up at the top. And just down below, you see the train and pathway there at Petaluma North. And just a quick highlight of our ridership and pathway. In 2024, SMART had its highest ridership year ever, serving 850,000 riders, or actually over that. And that number exceeded SMART's prior highest ridership year, which was in FY 2019. That, of course, was pre-pandemic. And in FY25, we are surpassing last year. Our average monthly ridership on the train is 25% higher than it was in the prior year. And in the last 12 months, SMART has served over 1 million riders, which is very exciting. But what's also really exciting is the fact that the pathway is trending similarly. We're seeing an uptick in pathway use, which we have only been measuring since late 2022. But as you can see on this chart with the year-over-year comparisons for the pathway shown in green and the rail system shown in orange, that our pathway usage is increasing and monthly pathway counts are 19% higher than they were last fiscal year, which is very exciting. SMART, of course, has been opening new segments, but we're seeing ridership increase on existing pathway as well as those new segments. So that's very encouraging to us. And now I'm going to hand it over to Bill, who will dive deep into the pathway. Take it away, Bill.
Thank you, Zoe. Okay, so a little bit on background on the SMART pathway. We cleared this in our CEQA environmental document, that's the state clearance, in 2006 as part of the rail project. And in that document, we laid out 54 miles of Class 1 pathway, both with SMART and also by some of the partner municipality agencies, and then 16 miles of Class 2 pathway. The project incorporates some of the existing pathways in Santa Fe, Novato, Santa Rosa, and Healdsburg, and then also weaves in the Caltrans Narrows project gets across the county line. Measure Q, which was our quarter-cent sales tax in 2008, not only funds the rail project, but is also funding the pathway project. And we have heavily leveraged that local funding to bring in regional, state, and federal money for pathway projects as well. Next slide. So the SMART pathway touches several other pathways. It's become part of the Great Redwood Trail. That's the 307-mile rail to trails pathway that's planned between the Humboldt and San Francisco Bays. It's also a little bit part of the Bay Trail and, of course, the North-South Greenway pathway system. And then we do share a little designation with the Gervadota Trail in Santa Rosa and then the Foss Creek Trail in Healdsburg as well. Next slide, Zoe. Some pathway statistics. The project includes 19 miles in Marin, 51 miles in Sonoma, and over 39 miles have been completed by SMART and our local partners to date. And we have just over 11 miles that have committed funding that are getting queued up for construction. And generally, we average around 63,000 monthly trips on the pathway system. And I should note the map there. It's a little hard to see on the screen, but Zoe and her team have done an amazing job of laying out maps on our website. Some of them are interactive. They've got a great legend on there. You can zoom in and look at pathways that are built, planned, and kind of the status of the whole system. So progress on the SMART pathway system in Marin. We've completed 72% of the planned pathway in Marin. We have this critical half-mile segment in Novato, which I will touch on briefly. And we've got a remaining 5 miles of Marin that we will position for grant funds. So nicely laid out in the pie chart there. So if we drill into the details a little bit, the remaining pathways that we still have to construct in Marin, we have from Santa Fe, Smith Ranch Road at McGinnis Park up to Main Gate Road, which is basically up to our Hamilton station. Then we have the State Access Road, also in Novato, up to Frosty Lane, picks up existing pathway there. I'm going to skip over the next bullet because really that ties to Hannah Ranch Road up to Roland Way. which kind of is Vintage Way as well. That segment's funded. That's that short connector piece I was just talking about. We hope to get into construction in that in the summer of 2026, but a great connector piece. Then from there, we'd be going Vintage Way north up over Novato Creek and tie into the pathway there at the Sutter Health. And then the final segment in Marin would be downtown Novato, Grant Avenue to Rush Creek Place, which ties into the existing pathway that heads up to our San Marin Novato North station. Next slide. So then the remaining pathways in Sonoma, we have a chunk from Main Street in Pengrove up to East Railroad Avenue. This is also a pretty key connector piece that'll open up a lot of really continuous pathway. The Prince Greenway / Joe Rodota Trail in downtown Santa Rosa to West 3rd Street. This is funded. It's a very short piece, but makes a nice connection up to 3rd Street and then to our station as well. 6th Street to downtown Santa Rosa Station, another really short little piece. Guerneville Road up to Airport Road between Santa Rosa and the unincorporated Sonoma County. This is funded, close to 6 miles of pathway. We just have to get some federal grants executed to get that rolling. And then as part of our Healdsburg extension from Windsor up to the Foss Creek Trail system in Healdsburg, and then we pick up at Grove Street where the Foss Creek Trail ends up to Lytton Springs Road. That's funded, and we are starting to work on the Healdsburg extension now. And then the remaining would be Lytton Springs Road all the way up to Cloverdale, so a pretty good chunk to the north. So some other pathway efforts that we've been working on. We have the wayfinding project. I think Warren touched on this briefly. Kudos to Zoe and her team on this. I think they did a fabulous job of laying out this wayfinding signage. We started working on this in 2023, started constructing it in the 4th quarter of 2024. And we probably have about 75% of it in. If you haven't seen these, stop, take a look. They've got maps on them, tons of detail, great information. The Redwood Bike Share Program, this was implemented by the Sonoma County Transportation Authority and the Transportation Authority of Marin. We have bike share stations at all of the smart stations except for the airport stations. I'm told they've deployed 262 bikes, which is about 90% of their total planned bike deployment. And several of the smart stations are in the top 10 bike share usage areas: Larkspur, Cotati, Petaluma Downtown, and Roanoke Park. And then bike lockers, we have made some modifications to the bike lockers by upgrading at least one to accommodate larger cargo type bikes at all of our stations. And then as we build new stations, Petaluma North and Windsor, we've been deploying a full suite of bike lockers. And then we have this one special pathway in San Rafael, the Portezuelo Hill. This is a connector from the top of the Portezuelo Hill near the Lincoln off-ramp in San Rafael, kind of straddling San Rafael and Terra Linda. Warren was very instrumental in participating in the feasibility study we did a couple of years ago, and that has now led us to get into design. Our board awarded a contract just in March to start doing some design work on that, some environmental documentation. And there's a great rendering here that our friends at WTB TAM worked with their partners in the Netherlands, IPV Delft, and put together this rendering. You get a feel for how the switchbacks would come down into the smart alignment and then ultimately link to San Pedro Road to the north of there. And you can see our Portezuelo Tunnel, our north portal there, and the railroad tracks in that image as well. And finally, we would like to end by inviting you to a party. We are having a ribbon cutting grand opening for our Windsor station and the Windsor extension on June 13th. A few photos there to kind of give you a flavor of the project. The photo on the left is an aerial view of the Windsor station, the platform, and the track. It's surrounding that center platform station. Center photo is a shot of the bike path along the railroad right away. And then the bottom right photo there is the construction of the pedestrian undercrossing. We had a photo of it earlier. That was a pretty big effort that we partnered with Windsor on to make a nice connection between the Windsor High School and the Smart Pathway and get folks up to downtown area. And then finally, a little bit more of that wayfinding signage that's been installed as part of the Windsor project. So Warren, that wraps up our presentation. We are happy to take some questions.
Wonderful, Bill, Zoe, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate great presentation. Actually, I didn't even know about the somehow I missed the bike locker modification to a cargo bike. So really great to see that. I have a few questions for you all, but I wanted to open it up to our guests or the Zoom room first to see if anyone has any questions for Bill or Zoe about Smart's future plans going forward. And if you do, just raise your hand or you can just unmute. I see Sandra with her hand up. Sandra, you want to unmute? Go ahead.
Yeah, what is the projected timeline for completing the northernmost piece up to Cloverdale?
I assume you're referring to the rail system
Yeah,
as well
the
as the
rail
pathway system. Yeah. We really don't have a timeline on that yet because it's funding dependent. So we've been pretty successful in getting grant funding, both for the pathway projects and the rail. So as opportunities come up, we continue to leverage all of our local funding.
And I guess,
ballpark?
oh,
5 years, 10 years, 20 years.
I would hope more in the range of 10, but that's just speculation on my part. I would hope it doesn't stretch out to 20.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and maybe Bill, just if you can give maybe 1 minute on kind of, this is something that I didn't understand before I got into this whole world, kind of the relationship between like what Measure Q can pay for and what you might need a federal grant to pay for. Just kind of like, and the way that Measure Q money serves as a matching fund or leveraging for those grants. If you just want to like give a brief overview of how that works.
Sure, great point, Warren. As you just touched on, so we have the quarter-cent sales tax that was passed in 2008 that funds smart projects. It also funds some of our operations of what we do. But in the world of grants and state and federal funding, local funding is really valuable because there's always a match required with state and federal funding, and that local money can really get stretched by leveraging those state and federal grants. And as opportunities come up, we try and fit pathway segments and rail projects that fit. Some are tailored more towards rural participation, some are more urban settings. So we're always trying to be flexible with our Measure Q sales tax dollars.
And just to drill into that, as I understand it, the sales tax measure that was passed in 2008 between Marin and Sonoma on its own is just not enough to construct the whole rail system and operate the train. And so this is why SMART ends up applying for competitive grants from the state and the federal government and kind of using that local money to actually fund the construction. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Excellent.
Great. Thanks so much.
More.
Mark, go ahead. Looks like you're still muted, Mark.
Can you hear me now? Great. Okay, I've lived in Nevada for 37 years, and to my mind, SMART is the best thing that's happened to the North Bay in 37 years. I ride both the train and the pathway. The pathway segments that you've done so far are really nice. What's really nice also, as a rider who goes through all the towns, most of which I don't know much about, when you come to a crossing where the pathway crosses a street, usually there's a sign that has the name of that street, which is incredibly useful. So I just encourage you to keep doing that and have signage on all the streets that you cross. That's really useful. The whole signage thing is great. Two questions on the pathway. First one, I've ridden the Foss Creek pathway up in Healdsburg, which has lights. So you can use that pathway whether it's dark outside or not. Most of the other sections of Smart Pathway do not have lights, which means for most people they're day use only, which to me is less than great. Last question. In Novato, there's a section that runs by the hospital. This is south of downtown Novato Station, between there and Vintage Oaks. It's usable, sort of, if you're very brave and have very tough tires. Are there any plans to make this a usable path by everybody? Also, it's sort of out in the sticks in relation to other streets, and there's no lights on it. That's going to make it not useful to a lot of people. And last question, then I'll shut up. Near and dear to my heart is the little half-mile orphan path between Hannah Ranch Road and Frosty Lane, which I've been attempting to track down for over a year now, who owns it and how that can be made part of the extension from Vintage Oaks to Hannah Ranch Road, because no one wants to go to Hannah Ranch Road. A lot of people want to go to Belmer Keys.
Thanks,
And
Mark.
I'll shut up. Thank you.
I'll let you guys figure out who wants to field those.
Sure. I can start. Zoe, I'm going to let you answer some of that. First of all, thank you for the compliments. We always love to hear compliments of the system because we do work hard to try and get it as good as it can be. Lighting is a great question. In the past, it typically hasn't been our standard to do lighting. Lighting adds tremendous expense to the pathways, but we get it. It probably would be a very useful feature. So I think it keeps coming up, and I think it's something we need to discuss internally and decide if we're going to start deploying lighting on our future pathway segments. I've ridden the section of pathway you're talking about there by Sutter Health. Yes, it is very rough. I think we tried to track down ownership on that one too, to try and get some paving renewal done there. Zoe, I know you looked at that a little bit. I don't know if we discovered who owns that section of pathway.
Yeah, so for the segment behind Sutter Health, as far as kind of responsibility for maintenance, what we've understood and kind of come to agreement with the city of Novato on is that it's the city of Novato that is responsible for that segment. Like some other segments, including the orphan path you brought up, Mark, these predate SMART. And so there isn't quite a similar history that we have on them. But we've engaged the city on this segment and other segments as well that are not within SMART's right of way or within SMART's maintenance program to look at opportunities in capital improvement programs to see if there is opportunity for repavement and improvement. But we will continue to engage our partners. And then separately on the orphan path, for everyone who's familiar with it, this extends from Hannah Ranch Road to Frosty Lane. It is the oldest segment in SMART's pathway alignment. And what we have understood, having engaged with the city of Novato, as well as the county of Marin, as well as Caltrans, as well as PG&E, who also owns kind of land that pathway is on, is that this was originally built by Caltrans. And Caltrans has easements with both had an easement with the railroad that predated SMART as well as PG&E to construct and maintain these segments. We have engaged Caltrans, and I know that they are going to look to implement some maintenance on this segment. We've noted some of the concerns that have been brought to our attention from users, including yourself, Mark. So we'll continue to work with them and provide updates as we go forward. As Bill mentioned, the segment just north of that is the Hannah Ranch Road to Vintage Way piece that is funded.
Thank you
Thank
both
you.
so much. Any other questions from attendees? I also have a few, if I don't see any hands. Okay, I'm gonna ask a couple questions, but if you have something that comes to your mind, please feel free to just
I
put
do
your hand up. So, oh, yeah, great. Great. I see Casey. Casey, go ahead. Oh, sorry. Charlotte first, and then Casey. I didn't see you unmuted yourself, Charlotte.
Sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
Don't worry about it. You're cooking, looks like.
I just would like to hear more about the interactive map. I use the both as a bicyclist and as a rail system, and I know that I've heard from several conductors that they're starting to encourage cargo bikes not to ride the rail because they obviously take up a lot of space in the bike section. And so I'd love to hear more about those interactive maps that Zoe mentioned and how riders can use them to kind of link together both the pathways and the rail system.
Yeah, so on our pathway website, we have an interactive map. The map is really focused on kind of showing you, it's doing two things at once. It is showing you the full extent of SMART's planned project, inclusive of those gaps that we have, and what their status is. And for those completed segments, it shows the functional classification of those segments, depending on a user's kind of level of comfort. And it also highlights where our stations are. There are opportunities as well on the map to kind of toggle on and off layers, including county and city gap closures, in recognition that people might want to get between stations where our pathway is not yet complete, and identifying some of those facilities that our partners have built. We definitely encourage people in terms of navigation not to, this is more of like a project kind of status map, but it's for initial planning. I don't find that ArcGIS maps work really well for trip planning. That's not really what they're intended to do. So we encourage you to use other sort of trip planning maps, but this is a great starting point to become familiar with the pathway, other connecting facilities, where those facilities are in relationship to the train, as you said, for kind of figuring out how to use your bike in coordination with the train, or where you can leave it. So hopefully that answers your question.
It does. Thanks, Zoe.
Thanks, Zoe. Kate.
Yeah, hi there. Just want to echo Mark's sentiment. I think Smart Train is awesome, and the Smart Pathway is awesome as well. I'm a Novato resident as well, and I am privy to the designs that are coming through basically the heart of downtown Novato, from the San Marin station to downtown Novato. And I'm super excited. I just think it's gonna be an absolute game changer for the city of Novato. A lot of people around here don't understand that's coming. And I also think, more importantly, the developers that are going to develop a lot of this real estate between those two sections, just looking at what they're trying to develop, they seemingly have no understanding that that pathway is going to be there either. And I think that's interesting, because I don't think they realize they're on beachfront property, and they're going to build these properties, and there's going to be an awesome pathway behind it, and they're going to have a parking lot between it, or a fence, and they're not taking advantage of it. So, for example, they've already put in this hotel, and from my understanding, there's no way to exit there and go visit the hotel. And you think for the residents as well, they can't exit, get one of those cool, if they brought their own bike, just quickly to navigate onto the pathway. And I just think, I don't know. My question here is, how engaged are you with like developers around the real estate of the pathway? And would you evangelize, getting in there early in their designs to help facilitate, this better land use potentially for their developments? That's my question.
Yeah, we really rely a lot on the local municipalities to learn about projects that are going on. They know their communities, and when they get developers and projects coming through, hopefully they route them our way, and vice versa. They have a sense of what our projects are, so they can inform the developers as well. We see environmental documents come through from time to time. That's usually the way we get tuned into projects. Zoe, is there anything you'd want to add to that?
No, I think there's definitely opportunity for more engagement. And we've had kind of varying interest and willingness, I would say, from different developers. So, we have examples of projects where, like in Santa Rosa, there's affordable housing being, built by our station. We've partnered on affordable housing and sustainable community grants with some developers to get those kind of projects into communities. So there's definitely opportunity, I would say, but we have different examples kind of across the county, and some people certainly really kind of excited to, as you say, have that beachfront property. And others that we would like to engage with more.
Just quick follow-up question on that. What do you need? Like, I would imagine you want as much ridership as possible. So like when you build this pathway, here's our chance to like facilitate more access to the pathway to get on the SMART train, right? So it seems like it would be in your best interest to get in there. It sounds like you just want to chalk it up to the city council to sort of make you guys aware. Is that the best route to put pressure on them, or do independent groups like ourselves like pick up the phone and call the developers? What would you think the most helpful to like get something going here?
Yeah, I think anybody that has information that funnels it through Novato. For example, I'm pretty tuned into most of the public works directors up and down the two counties, up and down our alignment. I have monthly meetings with the public works directors.
Okay.
There's been a little bit of discontinuity in Novato. I think they've lost a couple public works directors recently. So there could be a bit of a gap there. But you mentioned you've seen the plans, our designs for pathways, and I think those are probably funneled through the public works department.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's
and I
kind
made
of how
notes
that
about exiting for sure.
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't know
how
if
that
that's ever got
exchange.
to you.
Yeah, that's how that exchange of information should kind of work.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Okay, I realize we're getting close to time. Just want a quick question for each of you. What are you most excited about for SMART going forward? And Zoe, I'll start with you.
Well, I think we have these two projects on the pathway that are opening here really soon, and they are closing some critical gaps. You have a cute coworker there. And we're planning to, we had to delay it due to some technical difficulties, but we're planning really our first bike rides ever, official kind of SMART hosted bike rides to commemorate those events. And we're just excited to be engaging the community, creating these facilities for the community, and having this kind of social aspect to it through these bike rides happening here to open them. So I'm very excited about that.
Wonderful. And when those get rescheduled, we'll definitely boost the signal so people can take a trip up from Marin and join for those. Bill, same question to you.
I'm probably most excited for the Windsor extension. I think it's great to see us pushing north. I think it's going to be great for our ridership. And I think probably, as most of you folks know, the synergy between the bike and the train is fantastic. It's a great way to, leverage your first last mile with the bike, take advantage of the train, and just extend your ride.
Wonderful. Okay, and one last question for you both, and I'll let you go. For folks who are interested in to the degree that you can answer this as staff of SMART, how can folks in the bicycle community help support SMART in its mission and really see the rail line and pathway built out to completion?
Well, I think grassroots groups like MCBC are fantastic for that. I mean, Warren, you do a great job of following us very closely. You're usually in all of our board meetings. You have a very good idea of what projects we're working on, what's coming up, funding cycles, like at the regional level, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission and such. So just that enthusiasm and just being tuned into what's going on, I think really helps a lot.
So Bill gave a more kind of formal answer. I'm going to give him a different answer, which is equally important, but bring a friend. Bring someone on the train, bring someone on the pathway who hasn't been on the system, take them out, show them what you like about it. enjoy the system. I think that's really important. This is, you know, as you can see in Bill's background, we say we're connecting communities. We want people to really get to enjoy this community asset. So that's a great way to do it.
Thanks, Zoe. And just for everybody else, maybe you've seen the IJ, but Smart will be going for a reauthorization of their sales tax sometime in the next couple of few years. So keep an eye out for MCBC, from information on MCBC on that. So with that, thank you all for staying a little late. Sorry for we ran over, but Bill and Zoe, thank you guys so much for joining us. Great presentation. Thanks for fielding quite Bill's questions, and look forward to working with both of you going forward to build the pathway.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I like doing.
Wonderful. Okay, so with that, I'm going to transition over to a quick little, just some regional updates from around Marin County on some bikeway projects that I think are going to be interesting to some folks. So we're going to do some, one second. We're going to do some kind of zooming around in the map here. I'm going to share my screen and a couple photos I have from fun stuff that's happening around the county. So sorry, my intern is here assisting. So first we'll go south to north. This is down here at the, can people see my screen now?
Yeah.
Great. This is at Vista Point. This is where the Golden Gate Bridge lands in Marin. People have heard this, maybe some people have heard this before, but we have a few new people on the call, so I just want to share this. The GGNRA, the Golden Gate National Recreation Agency, is building a trail that's going to go around the east side of, it'll connect from the east sidewalk down to Conzelman Road. So that means if you're going between the bridge and San Francisco on a weekday, before 3:30, you'll be able to skip Alexander Avenue and go right from the east sidewalk down to Conzelman Road. So this old fire trail here is under construction. You can see I have a little photo right here of the prep work being done for that. So very exciting project underway there. Going up on the not so good news front, some of you may have heard that in Sausalito, we were trying to work to get bike lanes provided on Bridgeway between Golden Gate Market and Princess Street. Unfortunately, that project was voted down by the city council, despite having funding that we had worked hard to get for them. I'm not going to go into all the details here, but there's a blog post on our website if you want to look at a little more information about that. Going north up to very eastern side of Corte Madera, there's a project to extend the Bay Trail from the Cove School along Paradise Drive out to the edge of the town, the town county limits at Marin Country Day and the Montessori School. This project just got a full funding recently, so this is going to go to construction next summer. It's about a half mile of Bay Trail. Very excited on that. Going a little northwest, another project that recently got funding. This is just near Redwood High School on Lucky Drive, between Redwood and where there's a pathway over Corte Madera Creek on the west side of 101. Corte Madera just got funding to build out a multi-use pathway on Lucky Drive. This is a great school project because I don't know if anyone has ever gone to Redwood. There's a ton of car traffic coming out of there at school dismissal. So this will help really get people from the pathways north of the creek down to the school. Really excited to see that one go forward. I think they're doing design next year and probably construction in 2027. Bill actually touched on this, and now we're going up north through San Rafael to the top of the hill. Sorry about this. To the top of the hill here. This is what Bill touched on. There's anyone who's biked between San Rafael and Paralinda knows that the pathway kind of peters out the top of the hill. And this is to be a project to can make that smart pathway connect all the way down here between the top of the hill, and Terra Linda. That's in design right now. That'll still be a big project going forward for construction a couple years out. A couple of projects in Novato that folks on the phone may be interested in. We'll probably talk about a little bit later. Going all the way up to Novato. Thanks to the efforts from a number of our advocates, as well as our county supervisor, there's Olive Avenue going past the Trader Joe's is being repaved, and we all together convinced the city to put in a multi-use pathway along Olive Ave that'll connect to the future segment of Smart Path there. So all in all, it runs really exciting projects going forward. Thanks for putting up with my little zoom around there. It's not always a great way of doing it, but yeah, so we're excited about some future pathway developments in Marin. Actually, those of you who, I think a couple of you here were at our 25th anniversary party that we had a week ago Saturday. I have put together a big map that has all of the in progress, the existing all ages and abilities bikeways and the in progress ones across the county. And I'll be putting out I kind of like give a little preview of that for our 25th anniversary party, but we'll be posting that to the MCBC website with some more explanation later, so you can see all the great stuff that we have in the pipeline. I think overall, in all, we have something like 4 miles of multi-use pathway that are going to be built in the next 3 years. So really cool stuff. Cool. Any other questions or kind of housekeeping? And then if not, I can make some breakout rooms. I see we got a bunch of our Novato folks here, and a couple of folks from, mostly Novato and some San Rafael if we want. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. Any questions about the projects that I ran over there? Great. Okay.